just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine.
Good racing there, you guys.
For the second time this season, the QSR Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series travels to the high banks of a super speedway. This time, it's Atlanta. This is going to be a fun one here tonight for the PDI 135 from the famed Georgian racetrack. The one reconfigured just a few years ago. It's topic of many conversations of whether that was the right choice or not. Tonight, we're going to add another layer to that story. Let's have a look at the facility itself. 1.5 miles, just slightly more than. This place was narrowed up significantly. Used to be about 60 feet wide, down to 40 with this new configuration. They upped the banking from 24 to 28 degrees in the corners and made it a whole lot faster. Pack racing is going to be front and center here tonight. You're going to have trucks pushing each other and shoving. You got to lift through the corners, though. Not quite like Daytona and Talladega, and that's going to make it interesting, especially as the runs go on. Tire wear is a factor at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's have a look at your points here before the race begins. About 2 minutes until we hit the grid. Daniel Molnick's the points leader after a runner-up last week. Carter Lynn's in second. Marty Phillips, after his win, moves up into the third position. Foskey and Joyner round out your top five. Jesse Gordon's, Phil Brick, Austin Thomas, Derek McMurtry, and Stephen Mago are your top 10. The eyes focus on that yellow line between 12th and 13th. Tristan Pena and Brent Allen, 4 points separate them. Not too early in the season to start points racing and getting your way closer to the top side of that yellow line, because the playoffs are only for the top 12 and not for everyone. Schedule. Looking ahead, next week is Richmond, the Dover, Phoenix, Kansas, Vegas, and Talladega. We're a little past the halfway point of the season here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, October 8th, 2024. Talk a little bit about our race sponsor, PDI. PDI is your one-stop shop for everything diesel injection, from pump repairs to turbochargers. PDI specializes in Bosch, Denso, Zexel, Delphi, and more. With nationwide shipping and trusted brands, they've got you covered. PDI, thank you for the sponsor here tonight. We got still a minute left before we get after it. Probably talk about V-Speed. Who we are, who I am, the person you're listening to. Morgan Cook, host and producer here on V-Speed. Glad to be with you for most of the season, bringing you the QSR Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification icon, and make sure you don't miss a moment of the action. Racing you can't get anywhere else. You found us. You might as well stick around a while. With about 20 seconds left until we hit the grid, let's have a chat about your Dark Ace Digital Pole Award winner, and I apologize in advance for the last name here, Matthew Karakofe. That's my best guess. Regardless, fast lap for the driver of the 23. Let's see if he can hang on to it throughout the evening and end up in victory lane. Again, that is the Pole Award presented by Dark Ace Digital. Appreciate the sponsor right there, and we're a couple seconds from hitting the grid for real, and there we go. Get that up on your screen. Pole sitter, we already talked about. All these lap times going to be very close together. Jesse Gordon going to start on the outside of row number 1s. Third position going to belong to Mike George in the 7. Ryan Philbrick with another 4th place starting position. I think we're starting to set a record here for the 06 starting in the 4th spot. 5th is going to be Jason Foskey in the 29. Tristan Pena, first car in on points as they sit, is in the 6th position. 7th spot, Stephen McGough. Wyatt Walker starts in 8th tonight. And the top 10 will be rounded out by Waylon Turner in the 30 and Galen Wunsch in the 199. 11th position, Ace Dillard. 12th will be Brandon Yates in the 15. 13th, Vernon Markheim in the 31. Brent Allen, the inverse of that number, will start in the 14th position. 15th, Tyler Autry in the 81. Reed Sanders in 16th position. 17th will be CEO Quentin Stewart. Austin Thomas alongside him in row number 9. In the 10th row, Austin Dowdy in the 8. Christian Rodrigo will start 20th in the 33. 21st is Ethan Wisnowski in the 5. Ronnie Joyner starts 22nd. First car to not take a time. 23rd will be Daniel Molnix in the 2. Chase Berry, 23rd, 24th, also not taking times. 25th, Derek McMurtry. Gerald Sensabaugh starts 26th. John Briel in the 00 will be 27th. Patrick McPeak will be 28th in the 61. And last on the grid tonight, CJ Gates starts 29th. Big field here tonight, and this should be a fun one to be a part of as we just roll off the pit lane. Truck's currently working turn 1 and 2 for the first time, although not officially quite yet. Our leader is falling back through the field. Could be some sort of penalty levied on the 23 perhaps, maybe cut the apron during the pace laps. We'll have to, or during the qualifying effort, we'll have to get that figured out. But let's talk about your race analysis while we're pacing here. 90 laps tonight, pit road speed 55 miles an hour. You will be pitting into turn number 3 right here. You got to be below that red and white line before you make your pit road entry. You're going to have 3 tire sets available, 2 green white checker attempts, full of fuel, and a fast repair tonight. Probably going to need it. It is Atlanta after all. And I believe that the 23 is in fact getting an EOL penalty. So that's going to mean Mike George will be your leader, your control car. Jesse Gordon to the outside. And we're green at Atlanta. At a turn 4 for the first time today. The first lap's going to be led by Mike George in the 7. Such a difficult racetrack to make a pass on. See if anyone's able to get around the 7. It's a top side trying to work together here. We got a blinker just a little bit in that top lane. I think that's Tristan Pena in that black, white, and red 55, third car on the high line. As this could be close. I think Jesse Gordon's going to get him that time around. 2 laps, 2 different leaders. As we're nose to tail for the first dozen. Side by side. 2 by 2. Stephen McGoug's going to have to get up there a little bit further. Inefficiency on the bottom lane, you can see there's a 3-car length gap between the 29 and the 83. That is not going to help those front two clear Jesse Gordon, who is a little bit loose off the nose of Philbrick. Drivers tonight being told you cannot go below that red and white line under any circumstances, unless you're avoiding an accident. So, will that come into effect? Because it's very easy to want to cut that line on the front stretch. Much faster that way, but illegal. So what are we going to see tonight? The front group continues to be all stuck together. Then it's about a second back from 15th to 16th. That's Sanders to Dowdy. This group behind him just trying to hang it out, waiting patiently, as this is a recipe for disaster. 5 laps into 90. The leaders cannot sort it out. Aggressive side draft for the 10 onto the 7 as your leaders. Still, nobody able to make anything happen here. They sail it off into turn number 1. Gordon, half a car length on the top side. Can he clear off a 2? Doesn't look like it. Maybe a push down the backstretch. Ever so slightly is the 10 inching ahead of the 7. Philbrick doing everything he possibly can to clear the 10. Get himself some fresh air on the nose, as I imagine the 6 is probably getting warm. George led that time by. Foskey doing a great job pushing the leader around the racetrack. Some moves at the back of this little pack here. See the 15 of Yates and the 81 of Autry swap a position. Top to bottom, bottom to top. Here's what it looks like. This is on board with Vernon Markheim in 11th. Those kinks in the dogleg, they come up on you very quickly, very easy to chop the nose and get you bouncing and pointed in the wrong direction. Just generally upset the truck. Lucky not happen right there. Right now he's just kind of riding. Still 8 laps in. Nowhere to go so far. Holding a pretty wheel in the 10th position. Vernon Markheim. Let's look a little further back in the field. See that 24 rolling the top side. That's Ronnie Joyner back in 18th. Remember, he started pretty deep in the field and 22nd, up 4 positions already, trying to be the leader of the cars not in the pack. That's where I always wanted to be. Right where Brent Allen currently is. See from his roof. He's got the pack in front of him. He's in touch. He can get the draft. But if a caution were to happen, he has that extra 2 or 3 seconds to figure out where it is and what he can do to avoid it. Is behind him Quentin Stewart and Patrick McPeak trying to settle out who's going to take 14th. It's Stewart right now. Now McPeak's going to slide by on the bottom. And here comes Joyner for another position. Up to 15th now is the 24. Sliding ahead of Quentin Stewart. Let's ride on board with Ronnie Joyner and see how far this run will go. Already passed 7. See if he can make it 8 on the backstretch of Brent Allen here. He's going to get to the door. Like clear, he will clear. 14th position for Ronnie Joyner. Easily the biggest mover of the race at this point. Following Patrick McPeak, who's up 15 positions. Ronnie Joyner up a cool 8 positions. They're nose to tail on the high line. Almost 3 wide there is Yates. Got to miss the bottom into turn number 1. 12 laps in, I think we can start to see the tires wear a little bit, but let's not miss the fact that we've been side by side for the lead for a full 12 laps. Neither line has been able to make any headway. The pushers have been excellent. The third cars have done their job. And it's still not settled. Off a 2, the 10 had a shot at it, lost some momentum. It's another drag race down the back. This time, George is going to lead into 3. This is the best the bottom line has looked. He might be able to clear off the corner. He will not. The top side roars back. And at the line, it's the 10. Jesse Gordon got him. Wow. It's going to be like this all day, I feel. This is going to be a fun one here tonight. Look at that. You see the whole field in the frame. One driver did not hit the grid. That was Waylon Turner. Not sure exactly what happened to the 30. Brio currently the last driver running. You can still see the lead pack up a little further. They're still side by side for the lead. He's riding right behind Daniel Molnex. Oh, we got a connection issue. I think that was Gerald Sensabaugh. Possibly Chase Berry, actually. I think it was Chase Berry who had the connection issue there. Still, nobody can get the lead here. I think Foskey's getting tired of pushing. I think he'd rather be leading that bottom line. As now, for the first time tonight, the top lane has gotten clear of the bottom. Will Jesse Gordon slide down in front of the 7? Not off the corner, he will not. He's going to lose that advantage as George gets to the quarter panel, and they're dead even again into turn number 3. Nose to tail. On the inside, little separation on the high line. Foskey's trying to force it 3 wide. It looks like that's got to be nerve-wracking if you're Mago or if you're your leader on the inside. He's going to get turned. The 7 is going to go around. Can he save it? He can save it. Saw that one coming from a ways back. Way too far offset was Foskey on the back of the 7. And it's an interesting racetrack for handling purposes. Let's right on board with the 7, see what it's doing. When you're pushing somebody, it doesn't turn very well. It's kind of tight in the center of the corner, especially on the exit. It gets really tight. When you're the leader, it really frees you up. You get loose. It wants to spin out because you have all the air planted on the nose, and it's not going over the rear spoiler. It's being lifted over the rear car's hood. So it makes your car want to spin out, your truck want to spin out in this case. Whereas when you're pushing, it doesn't want to turn. It just plows the nose because you have no air on the nose. It's all behind you. It makes it difficult to know what your car's going to do, what your truck's going to do. This battle for the lead was settled for a moment, but it's back. Philbrick on the high line. Got Pena pushing Gordon, and that's Wyatt Walker in the 85. That black truck pushing Philbrick, second car on the high lane. We're already 20 laps into the show tonight. I would imagine we could probably go another 20 on fuel. And then potentially a green flag pit stop, which is always a difficult thing to pull off here at Atlanta. Oh, big sideways for the 81. Somehow saved it. That was close. Oh boy, let's see what the wheel's doing. This is for Tyler Autry. A little damage on the 29 you can see. See what happens here in turn 1. It was out of turn 2 this past time that he was just about wrecked. How loose that truck was. You can see he's fighting the wheel. Yeah, you can hear the tire sliding. That is dangerous when you're in the pack like that. To have the truck want to step out on you. His 4th car in line on the high side in that Kyle Larson scheme. Hope everything is all right for Tyler Autry. Top lane's going to get clear again, this time by 2. As Foskey again having issues. Oh, McPeak just about wrecked it. He was able to keep it straight. That was dangerously close to being a massive accident. 22 laps in. Every driver has a fast repair. We got the 15 in the outside wall all on his own. That's Yates. Still trying to recover the momentum. But I think we're seeing handling become a factor. It's freed up significantly. It's a little further at the back of the field. Your pole sitter, currently running in the 25th spot. Remember, EOL to start the race for a, I'm assuming, qualifying penalty, qualifying infraction. As a 23 all the way back in 25th. We're doubled up again. Something about race car drivers. They're stubborn. And we're seeing it here. We've almost seen 2 accidents. One at the front of the inside line, one a little farther back on the inside line. But again, we double up. I think Reed Sanders has the right idea. Staying way far away. He's got a bunch of hungry hippos right behind him. All following in line. The inside struggling a little bit with the handling. This is the farthest back they have been without an accident directly preceding it. See, it's 3 trucks on the high line able to get around the 55 of Pena. I think Philbrick got in the wall a little bit. Now Pena's right back again. Oh, everyone's sideways. This is crazy to watch. Galen Wunsch is in the middle, following back. He got really free off of turn 4, and he's still slipping and sliding the rear tires. Let's have a quick look at the weather in this race. Track temp under 100. So I wouldn't say it's track temp per se, but also let's have a note here. Ronnie Joyner, 22nd to 3rd for the 24. He has made the most of all these checkups. That 24 came to play today. Patrick McPeak still up 17 spots, although second biggest mover, because Joyner has gained 18 of them. Utterly outrageous how fast the 24 is. Currently pushing Tristan Pena. Working up to lap number 30, and the fuel tanks are getting light. The rear tire is getting buzzed. Can't imagine anyone's too happy with the handling of their truck right now. Crazy stuff here at Atlanta. You just see all these trucks kind of moving and shaking, bobbing and weaving. Really difficult to keep it pinned down to any particular line, as Jesse Gordon's going to lead another lap. He's been the mainstay at the front, has the 10. Led 17 of these first 29 laps. The other driver to lead quite a few laps was the 7. Finds himself currently in 6th. 4th car back on the top side, that black truck. Mike George. So look at Mike. Led 8 of the opening 30 lap. So much side by side, it's hard to look anywhere else. We got battles at the back of the pack. Quentin Stewart, for the first time tonight, has caught the lead group, and we just about have all of them together. Currently, I believe that's Austin Dowdy. It is Austin Dowdy in the 8 right there. First driver to not be a part of the lead pack. He currently has one of the best aero positions in terms of not many trucks in front of him. Fairly clean air on the nose of this 8. Should be driving pretty well. And off the rear bumper, pretty big gap behind him as well. So clearly something working out well for Austin Dowdy. Back up front. Still not settled for the lead. Pena on the bottom, hanging tough. Jesse Gordon controlling the race on the high line. Philbrick getting a big push from Wyatt Walker. How many lead changes have we had so far? 13 of them in only 32 completed laps this time by, and remember, they're only counted at the start-finish line, not throughout the racetrack, so 13 different lead changes at the start-finish line. That is a lot. Dead heat for the lead once again. Gordon looks like he's going to get by. He has the opportunity to go down to the bottom if he wants it. I don't think he does. No, he's going to stay with Philbrick on the high line. Might get split 3 wide here if he's not careful. Trying to block both lanes doesn't typically work here. Pena back down to the inside of the 10. Let's have a look at our driver cam drivers. One of those, the CEO himself, Quentin Stewart. Currently running 15th. Oh, we see me go, get way out of line. Oh, we're wrecking. We are wrecking. We saw that one start with the 83. Looks like he's the only truck who's really involved in this. I think he just got loose on the bottom. We're going to go back and find out in just a few seconds. First replay of the day. He goes into the corner, just gets a little loose into the side of Philbrick, and then can't quite save it. Oh yeah, washed up the racetrack into the 7. Pretty hard contact there for the driver of the 7. That's Mike George. I think he'll be okay, but let's ride on board with Mike Jordan. Just see how hard it is to avoid these accidents. See him go. Is that car directly to the left on your screen, the 83? Now loses the nose, gets a little bit loose with the net code, and up the racetrack, and right there it snaps. And there's nothing the 7 can do. That's going to be your first caution of the day, folks. Pretty heavy damage. Look at that. The nose crumpled in. I think every truck should be hitting the pit lane. As this might be able to get you to the end of the race, interestingly enough. Maybe after this, we can have a chat. The driver of the 29, Jason Foskey. See where he cycles out here. Jesse Gordon's going to win the race off pit road. Pena second. Philbrick, Joyner, Walker, McPeak, Yates, Foskey, Autry, and Dillard. Going to be your top 10. See where your favorite driver rolls off pit road for this, the first caution of the day. Let's see if we can have a chat with the driver of the 29. Jason Foskey, it's Morgan up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
All right, driver of the 29. You started in 5th, back to 8th here after the pit stop. Saw you almost involved in 2 different accidents just to start this thing off. How crazy is it right now inside the pack?
I started to get loose those last 10 laps, and it was completely changed the dynamic of the race for me. I gotta say, I absolutely hate this track. It's drafting at Charlotte, and this tri-oval, whatever you want to call it, gets me every time. I get loose coming in it. I get loose coming out of it. I almost hit the wall. I've not figured it out at all.
Definitely a tough racetrack after the reconfigure here at Atlanta. What are you going to have to do to pass all these trucks back and go get the win tonight?
Not wreck myself and hopefully not wreck them.
That is a terrific goal. Goal. That's a good one. You're on the pace lap here with the 1 to green. Before we let you go, anyone you want to shout out while we got you up here in the booth?
Whoever's tonight's sponsor,
PDI.
Shout them out for me.
Yep,
PDI.
Yep.
Great. They make this happen for us, and it helps me race on Tuesday nights.
Fantastic.
So I'm for it.
I hear you right there. All right, put you back in the general channel. Thanks for your time. Good luck for the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, that is current 7th place driver, Jason Foskey. Pace lights are out on the pace truck. Means we're going to go racing in about half a mile. Such a slow roll through the final set of corners here, turns 3 and 4 at Atlanta. We saw a pressure-packed first 30-odd laps of this race. Barney has a green flag in his hand. Into the Geico restart zone. Racing again in Atlanta. Big jump for the high line. We have a bit of an issue with the high line. The 15 simply did not go. Don't know what happened to Brandon Yates, but he is falling like a rock. 4 or 5 trucks past him now on the bottom of the racetrack. Not sure what's going on with the 15, but that is not going to help anyone on the outside lane. Jesse Gordon still leads with Philbrick behind him. We're about to go right back the way we were. I can just feel it. Side by side. So we cross the line to start working lap 40. I think I just saw the 15 get shoved out of line. Back to 11th. Every driver took tires. 28 of the 29 cars still on the lead lap. Waylon Turner, the only one off the pace right now. He is currently 38 laps down, still on pit road. Must have had an accident that we did not see. Apologies to everyone who was curious to what happened to the 30. Unable to catch that on the broadcast, saw it too late. We once again have 2 distinct groups, the top 13 on your screen, then a 6/10 gap back to Austin Dowdy, and then a whole bunch of trucks lined up in single file. Quentin Stewart has fallen back to 22nd. Not sure if that's by design, but he is going to catch up with Ronnie Joyner, fellow admin. See if they can roll the way to the front. Molnick's not too far back. Haven't said the name of the 2 all day. Currently 25th on the grid. There he is. These drivers just biding their time. It's not go time quite yet, because they can see the madness that's up in front of them. Mike George is a great look at it. Got the damage repaired. Used the fast repair, him and McGo both, and they're both back up in the top 15. Gonna go for it again. Pena takes the lead on the bottom. Can he hold it? He cannot, as Philbrick gives a monster push. Look at that. Clears the 10 to go down to the bottom if he chooses, although he hasn't all night. I don't know why he would now. Jesse Gordon going to lead another lap. It looks like he will. As Pena got a little loose. Front bumper of Patrick McPeak, who's up a full 24, now 23 positions. CJ Gates is up 19 spots. Those are your 2 biggest movers. Driver who's having the toughest race so far, Waylon Turner, down 20, currently out of the race. Other than that, it would be your pole sitter, the 23, who technically started in last, up 14 or down 13, depending how you want to look at it. He currently runs in the 14th position. Great racing up front. Let's ride on board with Patrick McPeak and just see how much you can't see. Got Pena in front of him. He's probably going to have nightmares about Wilson Motorsports. Because he can't see anything but the rear bumper. That's the view for 90 laps. We just passed halfway. It's been a quick one so far tonight. One incident to this point. 17 lead trains at the line. Might have an 18th right here. We will not. Jesse Gordon continues to lead. Ooh, McPeak caught the apron into the corner there. We were talking about driver cams before. Here's a special driver cam. Ethan Wisnowski and a passenger running in 22nd. Down one from where he started in 21st. I imagine that's not the easiest thing to do, drive in Atlanta. With a child on your lap, but multi-talented is Ethan Wisnowski, admin of QSR. Appreciate everything he does, bringing V-Speed back for this season. Another driver on the cameras today is Brent Allen, although his camera is acting up, so let's see if we can get it at a good moment. He looks like he's frozen. Yes, that is not 60 frames per second, folks. Brent Allen currently in 17th position. See if he's working with his PDI teammate. He is. That is the 6 of Quentin Stewart. Nose to tail on the high line. Of course, PDI sponsoring the race today. Top line, 3 truck lengths ahead. Make it 2 as Pena gets a rocket shot out of turn number 2. Gonna fall back a little bit into turn 3 as McPeak has bailed on the 55 and decided to join the top side. Ace Dillard now, the driver, second on the inside, the pusher. Behind him is Vernon Margheim. Third truck back. They're going to have a hard time, though, keeping up with the high line as they're starting to gang up on them. Pretty much the whole pack in one big group. John Briel still biding his time at the back of the field, just waiting, watching, see if anything's going to happen to take out some of these competitors. And I think this is the right maneuver at this point in the race. They are getting wild up there. Remember, it took about 30 laps, 25 to 30, before the handling started to go away. We are 15 into this run, so give another 10 laps, and we might see these trucks sliding out of control again. But for now, they run 2 by 2 all the way through to Quentin Stewart, who is 16th position. 8 rows, gridlocked, nowhere to go. The third lane here, not advisable to say the least. With how much these trucks wash up in the center, that's a recipe for a massive caution. Something that none of these drivers want to be a part of. So Brandon Yates running a bit higher line, trying to save the tires a little bit. Might be struggling on the handling ever so slightly. Currently in the 10th spot, big checkup on the bottom. What's he able to do here? Cannot quite close up to the back of Vernon Markheim, 31. Autry was outside. As Payne is closed back up to inside of the second car on the high line. You get back up to the leader, Jesse Gordon. Possibly, we see a blinker in the back. That's Stephen McGough. Caught up in our first accident of the day. Having connection issues. That is not what the doctor ordered for the 83. .35 laps remaining. Likely one more pit stop. Drivers might be praying for one more pit stop so they don't have to drive on these tires for the rest of the race, as Autry's way to the outside. Trying to make something happen. CJ Gates trying to go with them. We're trying to get around that 7. As Autry gets pushed out again, the handling has gone away. Remember, he was the first driver to really show the handling woes. That'll happen off of turn 2. A lot of wheel in it. I think he's got kind of a push-loose situation, meaning he has to turn the wheel so much to get the right front to grip and turn the car. And then once it does grip, it's got too much wheel in it. The back end wants to come around. It's Yates just about cleaned his clock. Middle of 1 and 2. See what happens here. Bit of a low, like a shallow entry for the 15. Caused him to wash up in the center. That cannot be helping the tires by any stretch of the imagination. As they continue to jockey for position. You can see it again right there. Kind of a weird entry point for the 15. Caused him to slide up and almost get the 81, who is loose again on the high line. Pena getting a big push from Ace Dillard in the 37. Still just over 30 laps to go. So we're 3 wide. This is the moment that things get very intense. Get the 61 shoved to the high line. Where does he go? Wyatt Walker forced it 3 wide, and they cannot sort it out yet. Big push to the back of the 37. He has nowhere to go. Pena's got nowhere to go. This is dangerous. How will they sort it out? How can they get out of this one? Right there, the 61's going to lift for the 85. That's probably the right decision. Loses a spot, but races another lap. Is he going to split him 3 wide? He might just do that if he thought about it. Absolutely. But did not pull the trigger on that maneuver. And I applaud him for that. That would have been a big crash. Tried to force Wyatt Walker 3 wide on the backstretch into turn number 3. Jesse Gordon still dominating this race. Has led 45 of the 60 laps run. And the bottom lane's falling apart. Pena very quickly falling back. Now even with the third car on the outside. Probably will fall back on the straightaway here as Ace Dillard not on the rear bumper. A little bit loose out of the corner. Going to cause him to lose even more momentum. Vernon Markheim in that yellow numbered 31. Having troubles getting up to the back bumper of Ace Dillard. And look a little further back. Stephen Mago recovering nicely after that crash. Fast repairs used on the 17th place driver, but he's still rolling. That's what matters. Look behind him at the scattering of cars. Led by Austin Thomas. Had an impressive season, Austin Thomas has. Let's get rid of one of these graphics. Which is why he's 8th in points right now. Definitely a solid run so far for the 35. Nothing so far to really shake up the points. No stages here tonight. No big issues for playoff drivers. Only one driver out of the race is Waylon Turner. That'll hurt him in the points, certainly. But everyone else, so far, so good, as we got 25 laps to go next time by. This is where the tires are going to start to really fall off. We saw drivers slipping and sliding around. You can see it right now. Jason Foskey, who we talked to earlier, remember he mentioned how loose this truck is, especially in that quad oval. Let's see it this time. Watch that yellow tape and that orange tape on the steering wheel. When it's pointed back to the right, he's saving it back to the right. Let's see what happens. Centered right there. Looks okay for now. Big lift into turn number 1. Yeah, right there. Big slide. Great job saving that truck, but he had that thing pointed to the outside wall. Still saving it. Very difficult to manage this truck. You can see he's definitely having handling issues. There's a gap in front of him. And any time at a racetrack like this, when you see a gap in front of the driver, means they are really struggling to keep the power down. Oh, Markheim got crossed up a little bit. That almost cost the inside line dearly, as Pena still fighting tough on the bottom, although he's going to fall back now in line with Patrick McPeak to his outside. What to do, what to do. And if you're a driver farther back in the field, like, say, Daniel Mulnix, who has just been content to ride all day, I don't know if he's turned a lap in the top 20 this entire race. He's got a pit stop. Oh, we got a crash. That's Austin Dowdy. Oh, don't keep it rolling, Dowdy. Goodness gracious. That's not the way. Austin Dowdy went for a ride, and that thing is destroyed. Fast repair going to have to get used here. But what happened? See Austin Thomas getting a push. See Gates 3 wide in front of him. Looks like just in the outside wall for Austin Dowdy, and then across the nose of the 24. I'd almost call that a self-spin. I don't know what was going on behind the wheel, but let's go back from his onboard and see if we can figure out what caused the 8 to get in the wall here. Are we still green? I think we're still green, folks. Apologies, we are still green. I thought we were under caution. Goodness gracious. So Dowdy, behind the wall, 2 laps down. Wisnowski, also a lap down. I think he thought there was a caution as well. Well, that changes things. We're still 3 wide up front. Wyatt Walker again trying to make a move. It's 85. Living on the edge, especially with these tires wearing out. This is dangerous. Oh, we got the 15 inside of the 14. Oh, that was just about another big one. The ticker back on your screen. There it is. Apologies, everyone, for that miscommunication. I thought there was a caution out. There was not. Dowdy was able to keep it below the line and rolling when he was above the racetrack. Under 20 laps to go here from Atlanta. Will they all pit again? Will they do it cleanly? Will there be an opportunity for Wisnowski to get back in the race? Currently the first driver 1 lap down. Dowdy is 3 down after getting back to pit road. There's Wisnowski. Sensabaugh, the last driver, on the lead lap, working with McMurtry and Mulnix. John Briel is 9 seconds up the road. I think they lifted for the potential caution that never did come out. This whole front pack, 23 cars deep, is moving and shaking, and there's a lot of movement. Pena side drafting hard with Philbrick. But Pena has been the only reason the inside line has been competitive for the last 50 laps in this race. He has hung tough, doing everything he possibly can. Can he basically by himself work his way up around the 10? Who has dominated the race. Jesse Gordon has led 58, come to 59 laps in this one, and they're catching lap traffic. That's Wisnowski in front of him. Where does the 5 go? Does he go to the top? Does he go below the apron? This could be the moment some of these drivers are dreading, some are maybe hoping for. Shake up the field just a little bit. As this might be the first time you see the 10 go to the bottom all race long. He's been married to the high line, and it's worked for him. But where will he go? McPeak to the bottom. First time the 55 has not led the inside in 50-odd laps. And to the door of the 10, he's going to use the lap car as a pick. Wisnowski staying to the high line. Is he able to get passed by this group? Or maybe he can slide in front of Markheim. He may. I don't think he will. Definitely had the opportunity to. Gonna slide in front of Gates. He's now one with the pack. Caught them in a good spot. Is now 3 wide behind him. Gates, Markheim, and Autry. What are they going to do? Because they are fighting hard. Oh, Gates in the wall. Markheim. Oh, there's a big crash. Oh, they're destroyed. Yep, that's a big one. Reel's in it as well after running the back all day. Yeah, that's devastating. Saw that one coming, unfortunately. But these things happen. We'll check out how this happened. So we see here, Gates up into the outside wall right there. And the 31 just gave him no room. They came down the racetrack into the 81, caught up with the 29. That's the 23 or pole sitter. I think that's at the 85 as well. Is that Wyatt Walker involved? Potentially. Reel's in it. Let's go back another time here on the blimp. So let's ride on board with Foskey, see what he saw. Now you can see Gates up in the outside wall right there, and not much he could do. And as soon as the 29 lifted, he got drilled in the rear bumper, lifted rear tires off the ground. He had no choice but to spin there. Still don't know who that black truck was. Right around this 23. Let's see if we can figure out who it was also involved in this accident. I think it was Wyatt Walker, actually. Yeah, it was. That black truck has been forcing it 3 wide all night, unfortunately taken out in somebody else's 3 wide mess, and they caught, yeah, Markheim again. Quentin Stewart somehow made it through that. I think that'll be our last onboard that we do here. But where is Quentin Stewart? There he is. Let's see what he had to work through to get through this one. Let's watch the steering wheel here. Sees Gates in the wall. Instantly out of the throttle. Trucks sliding everywhere. Yeah, great job missing that accident by Quentin Stewart. Back to the live shot. Jesse Gordon is your leader. We got 11 laps to go. Likely hitting the pit road this time, I would think. No. Must be able to make it on fuel to the end. All right. Does anyone hit pit lane for tires? I don't think so. Pit road might still be closed, but I don't see anyone on the pit road right now other than Jason Foskey. Ethan Wisnowski, I think he's out on the racetrack. Wyatt Walker's on pit road with damage. CJ Gates with damage. He blew it up. Not sure why a fast repair isn't being used on these trucks, as we're doubled up already. Oh, they did pit. Apologies, they pit during the replay. So now every truck, except for Wisnowski, who got one of his laps back, still 1 down. Every truck now should be able to make it to the end on fuel. We're going to have a shootout. This should be the best the truck handles all night. Weather, the temperature's gone down by a few degrees, down to 92 on the asphalt. This is our second caution of the day. 17 different lead changes at the finish line. Most laps today have been led by Jesse Gordon. He has led 64 of the 80, 79 technically, that we have run so far. Working lap 80 right now. Can he cap off the day? Started second, effectively led the field to green. Off of turn 4. Hopefully the final restart of the day. Field in the hands of the 10. For some reason, They're door banging on the restart, but we're green again in Atlanta. That was one of the restarts of all time, certainly. And Philbrick's going to clear easily, 0 help behind the 10. McPeak got caught sleeping. They're going to have a big run to the back of the 10. Trying to block is Philbrick. He's going to get there. Oh, that was just about a crash again. Wunsch getting a shove from the 35 we haven't mentioned for most of the day. Austin Thomas trying to make good on riding around. Tristan Pena back to the inside. Still can't get the help as Philbrick leads. Still anybody's race. McPeak to the bottom. Saw this happen earlier. George goes with him. They're going to get to the inside of the 06. Can they get any farther? The lead this time by it is McPeak. Going to get that lap led. That should be, I believe, 18 lead changes now. First time in a long time the bottoms had the momentum. Pena being a great third truck in line, giving a massive push. As we're 3 wide, a little further back, Austin Thomas getting by Vernon Markheim. Top lane's hurting right now. The 06 creeping back as they catch up to Wyatt Walker. Where will the 85 go? Will he go to the high line? Will he go below the apron to get out of the way? Right now he's staying right in the middle of the racetrack. He will go below the line. Sensible move for the 85. Heads up move by him. Classy act. Appreciate that. Thank you, Wyatt Walker, for not impacting the finish of this race. As we close in on 5 laps to go. 6 this time by. We got Chase Berry ripping 3 wide up on the wall in the 46. First time we've said his name all day. He's in the outside wall now. I think they're 3 wide with Joyner in the middle. This is wild, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not going to go away. 15, 20 cars running nose to tail. Only a second and a half separating the leader from 23rd position. 1 bobble, and this whole thing goes up in smoke. 5 laps to go. We're 3 wide in the back. Who is going to get the edge? Right now, it's McPeak, Philbrick on the outside. Foskey getting passed on the inside line. Philbrick edges ahead into turn number 1. Advantage high line with 4 laps to go. Big pushes. One of these pushes might spell disaster, but for now, the bottom line gets a surge of momentum. Can he clear? Can McPeak clear on the bottom? He cannot. Philbrick back with a great run. We're going to start the dance all over again, side by side into turn number 1. Loose off of the nose of the 10. What is Jesse Gordon seeing right now? Caution's out on the racetrack. Caution is out on the racetrack. The 15 is in it. Chase Berry, who was up in the top 10's in it. We're going to have a green-white checker, folks. This changes everything. Let's see what happened to the 15. You can see Chase Berry up. Well, oh, we got 4 wide. Yeah, that's not going to work here. Yeah, that's just a racing deal, unfortunately, but I think behind Brent Allen, somebody got stuffed in the wall. Let's go back here again. Yes, you see Brent Allen in the 13. Where is the 13 here? And off the rear bumper, see Chase Berry right there. A little bit of a block, potentially. That just clips the 23, and then the 81, not realizing the 15 was to his inside, came down and turned him. Let's ride on board with the 81 machine, Tyler Autry. They're still wrecking? Did I just see another crash? No, I did not. Could have sworn I saw somebody spin out again. Anyway, I'm back on board with the 81 on the replay. Yeah, just involved in it. Obviously, just really know where to go. Trying to avoid it. Ended up crossing somebody else up, and it happens. That's Atlanta. Well, McPeak is your leader with 3 laps to go. We're not going to interview anybody right now. That I won't take anyone off their game. But it's been a fun one so far. Race recap, how about 21 lead changes? 3 cautions, this being the 3rd one. Everyone can make it to the end on fuel. Tires currently 11 laps old. Race that has been dominated by 4th place, Jesse Gordon. Led 64 of the 90 laps we've run so far. Pretty phenomenal day. Ripping that high line, and he's going to have an opportunity again as he will start 2nd on the outside. Probably exactly where he wants to be, behind the driver he's worked so well with today, Ryan Philbrick. Patrick McPeak took the opportunity to go to the bottom and make a move happen. He ends up with the lead right now. I believe now we are going to double up. Pace lights are out. Let's do a quick run through your top 10. McPeak takes the high line. Philbrick going to slide in onto the bottom side. You got Jesse Gordon, as well as Mike George. Row 3 is going to be Austin Thomas and Tristan Pena, who's hung around the top 5 most of the day. Vernon Markheim is in 7th. Galen Wunsch in 8th. Ace Dillard, Stephen McGough, who crashed earlier in the race, round out your top 10. Row 6, Christian Rodrigo and Quentin Stewart. Ronnie Joyner and Brent Allen in row 7. Row 8 is Daniel Mulnix, his highest position of the day, and Reed Sanders. Then we got our pole sitter, the 23, and Derek McMurtry in 18th. Row 10, John Briel and Chase Berry. 3 more drivers on the lead lap. Gerald Sensabaugh, Brandon Yates with the freshly repaired truck, and Ethan Wisnowski. Actually, no repair on the 8. He's just going to keep it out there, hope for the best. Bold strategy, Cotton. See if it works out for him. 5 trucks, lap or more down. Tyler Autry, Austin Dowdy, Jason Foskey, Wyatt Walker, CJ Gates still running. Waylon Turner continues to be off the racetrack. We're going to go green, hopefully for the last time tonight. Green flag is out. They roll through the restart zone. No help to speak of in either line. McPeak's going to slide in behind the 06. They want to settle it. 1v1, 2 laps to go in Atlanta. Down the backstretch. In the 06, keep making the right move. As George is going to go to the high line. Might get hung out to dry. White flag is out. 1 lap to go here at Atlanta. Oh, big crash. Rolling through the air is George. Still green. The 06 still leads the race. Still wrecking behind him. A second one. We're going to stay on this action to the finish of the race. McPeak to the bottom. He's going to get loose. Here comes Austin Thomas. But your winner tonight is going to be Ryan Philbrick. Oh, that was close. Oh, boy, was that close. But he got it. Ryan Philbrick is your winner here tonight. Now let's go back and see what the heck just happened. I thought 3 different crashes on the final lap of this race. First off, let's go back to the checker. It's on accident. As they were crossing the line here, we see McPeak get out of shape. Hit into the door of Thomas. He just gets spun ever so slightly. Nothing too crazy there. Now let's go back a little further. And I believe it was, I don't remember which driver it was who ended up getting spun here in turn 1. Oh, it was the 7. There he is. Mike George spins around. Then there was another one. Where was that second one? Trying to find a driver who was involved in it. I think Rodrigo had a good shot of it. Let's go back here and see if he could see it. Let's see here. Now this is coming to the white flag. There it is. Let's see what happens here. So the 7 go for a wild ride right there. Rolled up in the air. And the second one happens with Rodrigo, in fact. The 23 gets spun. Takes out the 10 as well. Yeah, just big crashes all over this final lap. But that's Atlanta, isn't it? That's just the way that it goes here. But for QSR Simulation, this Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series, that was the PDI 135. What a thriller. Came down to the wire as we expect here. It's exactly what you expect to have happen. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back right after this with your results and interviews with your top 3 drivers, Ryan Philbrick, Patrick McPeak, and Austin Thomas. See ya in just a few.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Zwack.
Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Welcome back here on V-Speed to QSR Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series. We just wrapped up the PDI 135 at Atlanta. Took one overtime, but here's how it went down. 3 cautions with 22 lead changes, asterisks at the start-finish line. Many more happened throughout the racetrack. Ryan Philbrick brings it home as your winner. Started in 4th, ends up getting the W. Patrick McPeak from 28th to 2nd. How about that for gaining positions? Austin Thomas in a similar vein as well, 18th to 3rd. That's your top 3. Galen Wunschung on the top 10 all day, finishes in 4th. And Ace Dillard, same for him, 37, finishes in 5th. Tristan Pena, right where he started, doesn't tell the whole story. He kept that bottom line together for about 80 of these 94 laps tonight. Vernon Markheim finishes in 7th. Ronnie Joyner up to 8th. Christian Rodrigo and Quinn Stewart round out your top 10. 11th position, Brent Allen in the 13th. Stephen Mago spins to finish in the 12th spot. Daniel Molnick's highest I think he ran all day was 13th, where he finished. John Briel, same for him. Ran last most of this race, staying out of trouble, and it worked out. Finishes in 14th. Derek McMurtry 15th, Wisnowski rebounds nicely after the damage to finish in 16th. Brandon Yates, 17th spot for him. Jesse Gordon, who led the most laps, started second. He will finish 18th. Chase Berry, 19th, and Gerald Sensabaugh in 20th. 21st, your pole sitter caught up in that last lap accident in the 23. Mike George in 22nd. He got spun into the outside wall and rolled through turns 1 and 2. He will finish 22nd, unfortunately for him. Reed Sanders, 23rd. Austin Dowdy in 24th, 2 down. Foskey also 2 down in 25th. Wyatt Walker was aggressive but didn't work out for him. He finishes in the 85, 26th, 3 laps down. CJ Gates also 3 down in 27th. Tyler Autry 3 down in 28th. And Waylon Turner left early, 91 laps down. He finishes 29th on the field tonight. Well, that was a fun one. And I think a few drivers who even had a little bit more fun that ended up in the booth are your top 3. We're going to go chat with them right now, starting off with Austin Thomas. Austin Thomas, Morgan up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do. How are you?
Things are good. I've been singing your praises all season long. Hopefully you've gone back and seen that on the broadcast. The 35 didn't speak about you much at all today until the end, where you ended up in the 3rd spot. How did you do it?
Well, man, the goal was with me and the Turn 1 Tsunamis, we were going to try to hang in the back as long as possible to avoid all the wrecks and whatnot. But the race decided to go green quite a bit tonight. So around lap 65, we all decided to start pushing to the front and just picked everybody off one by one and made the right choices.
Yeah, clearly the right choices were made on that final lap as you avoided the big crash with the 7. And I think all those accidents happened behind you. You were able to just fight for the win here. In fact, I see you right behind the 7 probably as he crashed there. So yeah, good moves for the 35 to avoid that big accident in turn number 2. But so you mentioned your turn 1 Tsunami teammates riding around kind of in the back of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Was that always going to be the plan, or did that depend on qualifying tonight?
So that was the plan from the start. We all tried to run the same line during qualifying to kind of put us near the rear. We were going to hang back there, and hopefully the entire race went green, and we saved a lot of fuel and a lot of tires during the whole time. So if it would have went green the whole way with green flag pit stops, I believe that we would have probably had a top 4 finish for all of us.
Right on. Well, 3rd place for you. Definitely nothing to be too upset about at a racetrack like Atlanta that is so difficult to handle. And speaking of handle, let's talk a little bit about how the trucks drove today. We saw in the pack a lot of wiggles, a lot of wobbles, a lot of trucks kind of shifting lanes unintentionally. How did your 35 truck handle tonight?
My 35 truck was really just stuck to the course today. Going into turn 1 and then turn 3, I would just burp it a little bit to kind of let that truck suck down to the road. But I didn't have any trouble. It went where I pointed it, so it was perfect for me.
Right on. You can tell this guy drives. He knows what's up. Well done, Austin, tonight. Anyone you want to thank or shout out for the 3rd place finish?
Just the turn 1 Tsunamis. I got family back home watching the race every week, so thank you to you guys, the broadcast booth, QSR, and everybody that puts these events together.
Right on. Well, congratulations. That's your 3rd place finisher tonight, Austin Thomas.
Thank you.
Quiet run tonight for the 35, but he did everything he had to do to get the podium. Good points day for the driver. Came in 8th in points. 2nd spot tonight, Patrick McPeak. Hey, driver 61, you got a copy?
Wrong driver.
Oh my goodness, I got the wrong guy. Driver 61, you got a copy? Patrick McPeak, you got a copy?
Got a copy, man.
Fantastic. All right. Pick the wrong guy first. All right, 2nd position. Let's talk about the last 10 or so laps of this race. You rode around in about the 5th position for the vast majority of this contest here tonight. And then as soon as the high line started to become dominant, you dove in front of the 55 and you took over the bottom. and were able to make it stick. And then on the restart, you had the lead, slid behind the 06. Anything you could have done different to go get the win tonight?
I could have been a little bit more patient, I think. The way Jesse kept on running out there tonight, I was just, how the outside was working. I think I could have just went on the outside out of turn 4, and I probably could have got the momentum to get around, but I'd have to have someone come with me. But the way this track really works with drafting, it's like a roulette wheel. You're either going to land on the number that you pick, or you're going to go broke.
That succinctly describes gambling, yes, and a lot of drivers doing that tonight with the different lines, like you said, moving from top to bottom. And really, every time you ship it off into turn 1 or turn 3 with a car to your inside or your outside, you're really just taking your whole race into your hands, and putting it in their hands, I should say, because it's so hard to hang on to these trucks tonight. I mean, how was the handling on the 61 tonight?
Very, very tight. I pretty much just tried to swing the car in, get the truck upset to get into the corner. But either way, I was pretty much running out of control the whole entire race, tight and loose, no matter what lane I was in. But other than that, our 61 Chevy Pink Mermaid actually was pretty quick tonight, and yeah.
Definitely a lot of speed for you. Ran up in the top 10 for the majority of the race. I think maybe actually the entire race. Other than where you started at 28, you had to work your way up there, but you stayed there once you got there.
Yep. I just saw how everybody was spaced out, and I just was like, you know what? I think I can make momentum off of everybody and climb up there, and then probably settle for a top 5. And it actually ended up going farther than I expected. So yeah.
Yeah, mission accomplished on that front, certainly. Let's talk a little bit about passing here, because typically drivers say this is a hard place to pass at. The harder you get up to the front, the closer you get to the front of the field. So you started back in 28, so second to last on this field tonight. How did you find it being able to pass it? Did you have to really work at it? Were you worried about burning your stuff up, or were you able to just go out there and do whatever you wanted to do tonight?
Basically, just be patient, really. You watch the replays or anything of how I was passing people. It didn't look patient, but if you see the momentum, try and take it, and that's what I did. And but I was just basically, key thing about this racetrack is just to be patient.
Yeah, for sure. Atlanta is a difficult racetrack to do anything on. If you aren't patient, you'll burn your stuff up, and you'll find yourself probably, like a lot of drivers tonight, wrecked in the outside wall in the closing laps. But who do you have to shout out or thank for the second place finish tonight? A great finish for Patrick McPeak.
I got to thank everyone that I've actually told about coming watching this race. I actually promote y'all's streams on my Snapchat so I can get more views and I can build my own fan base, really. And I want to thank everyone that actually comes and watch it. I want to thank my mom, though. She's probably my biggest supporter, and also my dad. But I also got to thank Pink Mermaid and Jets Designs for giving me the opportunity to get to where I'm here tonight.
Awesome. Well, hopefully all your fans watching at home enjoyed the show they saw tonight. It was a thriller here at Atlanta, but congratulations, Patrick, on the second place finish.
Thank you. You have a good one. And thank you so much for putting this on.
You bet. You bet. All right, that second place, Patrick McPeak, season best run tonight. Now we're going to grab the driver we grabbed before, Ryan Philbrick, your winner. I think we got the right driver this time. Ryan Philbrick, your winner.
You got him.
Yes. And you got him tonight. You got this field. 7 laps led.
Hell yeah.
Not as much as the 10, who I think you were stuck behind for about 64 of these laps that he led tonight.
Yeah, I was comfortable there. You know, I've ran with Jesse for a long time in a previous league. The high line seemed easy to run, and especially when the tires went away, it was easier. And I figured just hang there, you know, until crunch time came. I didn't think that's how it was going to go down with the restart and everything, but we'll take it.
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, the top line was the best one, and you just hung right there. Were you content? So let's say this race goes green, and let's back up. We had the caution that kind of got you all in the window to make it. Let's say it goes green from there. Are you just content to ride in second on the high line,
mean,
or do you want to
I'm
go out
de-
there and win the race on the last lap?
I'm definitely making a move, nothing dirty, and it depends on what the situation is. For sure, I'm not just gonna push him to the win, but I mean, I'm gonna throw something at him. But I guess I don't really know until it happens. But yeah, that was in the back of my head for sure what the move was gonna be because I hadn't really tried to pass him throughout the race. I was just staying there pushing him. It seemed to be working. I didn't see many people coming through the pack. I thought track position was pretty good, and with the fuel mileage, I thought he was cutting wind, maybe using a little more tire if it went there, and using a little more fuel than me. So,
Yeah, definitely
but
all good thoughts for the driver who was running second for the majority of the race. And let's talk about that final restart, or those final couple restarts. Let's talk about the final one specifically. You restarted, I believe, on the bottom, right? We had McPeak on the
yeah,
high line.
correct.
And were you the control car, or was he the control car?
He was.
He was. So if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken, you got the good run into turn one, right? And he ended up sliding
yeah,
behind you.
yeah, yeah. I just sat there, got his bumper in the view where I could see as soon as it moved, and I was like, if he takes me to the end of the restart zone, then I'm going. But as soon as I see his bumper, first gear start and short shifted real quick. It had worked the previous restart. I don't know if I was on the front row then but a couple of times I had tried it and it was working. I was getting good restarts, so I felt like if it didn't spin, but every other restart had been on green tires, so I was a little bit easier on it. But as soon as I, felt that it didn't spin, I was like, just, don't miss these shifts and you should be good. Took the bottom line, just watched the top to see if, anybody came there to take their runaway, but it didn't seem to happen. I figured if he was going to take me, he was going to need help. I didn't know if he had it, but I was just waiting to watch him try to go to my outside and he stayed there. So I figured he didn't have help. He kind of pushed me a little, like, not in a bad way, trying to do what he could to get by me. Pushed me into the corner. I almost gave him a window there for a second, but I was like, no, I had to shut it real quick. Yeah, that's about what I can remember.
I think
I can't wait to watch it back though. That was a hell of a race. I thought it might be a little bit of a wreck fest, but totally wrong. Happy that it wasn't. That was pretty sick.
Definitely a phenomenal run. And we're just watching turn 3 and 4 on the final lap in the slow-mo during this interview here. We saw where the 61 got his entire nose to your left rear quarter panel. At that point in time, were you nervous about if he bobbles, I'm probably going around and not winning this race?
I don't even know exact. I just remember thinking I might have just screwed up by giving it to him. I didn't know. I hadn't ran the bottom that much, so I think maybe just because he was pushing me into the corner, it might have been why it pushed up a little more. So at that point, I was like, I gotta kind of give it to him, and then I felt, I don't know if contact or what, but I felt like I could slide. Something made me feel safe that I could slide back down. But I thought I might have to go to drift up high and hope that I have the run to the line. But I wasn't really scared that he'd bobble. I've also ran with Pete in a previous league for a long time, and I knew he wouldn't take me out. He'd run me tough but clean.
Right on. Well, clearly you knew what you were doing tonight as you ended up getting the win. Who do you want to thank or shout out for your first win of the season here at Atlanta?
For one, QSR, all the admins. I love this league. You guys do a great job. Bad Company Motorsports, Link Up Painting, and you for broadcasting it. That's about it.
Right on.
All the drivers are coming out.
Yeah, definitely a 3 cautions and a 90-lap race here at Atlanta. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah,
they did a great job here tonight. But Ryan Philbrick, your winner. Maybe we'll qualify 4th again next week. We'll see.
Yeah,
that's maybe a pretty common starting spot for you. But congratulations tonight.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you next week.
See you then.
All right, that's your winner, Ryan Philbrick. Now, we have concluded our coverage of QSR Simulations Tuesday Night Thunder Truck Series here from Atlanta. The PDI 135. PDI is your one-stop shop for everything diesel injection, from pump repairs to turbochargers. PDI specializes in Bosch, Denso, Zexel, Delphi, and more. With nationwide shipping and trusted brands for overhaul engine kits, they've got you covered. Let's have a look ahead. The next week, Richmond Raceway, 1 week from today. Holiday Monday for those of you north of the border. Then we go to Dover, Phoenix, Kansas, Vegas, and Talladega to wrap up the season. Only 6 weeks remain. It was a fun one tonight, and hopefully we'll get to see you next week here on V-Speed. I've been your host and producer, Morgan Cook. And if you haven't already, make sure that you hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a moment of the action. We go live again tomorrow for the Racing Revolution Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series Wednesday. You're also going to catch us on Thursday for QSR again, their Gen 4 series. Saturday, you've got SNR. Sunday, Original Rebels Racing League, among others. We have lots of racing every day of the week. You're not going to want to miss a moment of it. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit all those buttons. Like I said earlier, glad you made it here. Glad you found us. You might as well stick around a little while longer. But for everyone at QSR, for everyone at V-Speed, Bradley Cooper, Eddie Smith, and Adam Baker, and the rest of the gang, thank you and have a great night.